I think it says live. I think it says live. Cool. Okay. So we're good. Already Prague and Lelium drew, and we're looking now. We're gonna be covering. How do I pronounce that? Okay, so Hague or Hague, Mate Rossian. Okay, Hague Mate and Vincent Keimer. And these two guys, the other guy, Shankland, Sam, and Mishra. How do I say? Mishra Abhimanyu. Okay. So we're going to look at these two. Also, there is a Turkish chess opening or something, or there is a Turkish chess event. We might be looking at that one too because it is an event in which we've got Shakriar Mamedjarov playing. So we may want to look at that one too a little bit. And Nihal Sarin. So these two guys are playing in the Turkish chess event. So we may want to look at that one. All right. As per usual, guys, we're not going to be using machines and engines at this stage. We just try to figure out ourselves what's going on. Well, what's going on is that the bishop on g2 now. So that bishop is very happy. Is in the happiest place, so to speak. That's a good one. Bishop g2, covering all the light squares along this diagonal. That is good. Okay. Also looks to me that white should be investigating how to challenge those pawns. Maybe a b4 required at some point. I'm not sure. I'm not fully convinced, but I think it definitely has to be investigated. Reason being, you need to open up the c, and maybe in conjunction with the bishop and stuff, you might be something cool happening. So something like b4 might be doable here. From black's point of view, let me see. You want to do something with this knight on d7, right? So you want to get that guy someplace. Is it f6 for black? You guys free to tell me. 14 minutes for Abhimanyu. How do I say Mishra? And 1 hour for Sam. So that's big difference time wise. Big difference time wise, yeah. Okay. Is this guy happy here? Kind of not very bad, but what do you do actually? Nah, I think still reverting back to the old plan with b4. Try to dismantle this and see what you can do. Maybe some checks on the c8, maybe trading off something. Maybe. There are a few maybes. Also, I like the bishop here. Yeah, you could play this guy here. Should you? Or should you just leave it there for the time being? Anyway, black's the move. Is it knight d7 to f6? Might be knight d7 to f6. Let's look at the other one. Hey, Vincent, what's going on here? Oh, you got to take this guy back. So I don't know what happened because I haven't watched from the very beginning. But rook takes f4 seems to be the stuff you want to do. And then if you're planting the rook on f6 and leave it there forever, I think it's great. And if you look at this, also could be awesome. Perhaps if you throw in a queen g3, might be great. He wants to trade off. He wants to deflect the queen from getting very active. I think rook f6 can be played regardless. And I've got to say that the bishop on e6 is a bad bishop. Definitely bishop e6 is a very bad bishop. And in contrast, with the bishop on d3, which is very active. So bishop on d3, super active, nice, attacking, pressure on g6. This guy, that's just great. Rook f6, that's awesome. And then again, with this kind of ideas, I think it should be super cool. Maybe there is another way to dance around here. Should you be taking, then queen takes, then queen? You know what I would like to try? Queen f6 would be better, I guess. But anyway, how the hell do you get there? So it's not that straightforward. So for the time being, maybe some rook f6 would be good. Yeah, I think I would do rook f6. I know normally when I'm streaming, I haven't done it very often lately. It's around 6:30 p.m. ish now. It's a little bit earlier because I finished the club earlier today, and I'm able to cover the last leg of this round today. So we're going to be covering this, whatever's left from this one, and maybe we're gonna have a very quick look at the Turkish Chess Festival where Nihal Sarin and Shakriar Mamijarov, these guys are playing. So we could look at that one. I hope sound is okay. I hope sound is good for you guys here, and so on. Okay. So, guys, if you have some different ideas in relation to the current position here, please do let me know. That's what I personally think here, with no other. Um, it's just myself thinking at the first glance here. That's what I would personally investigate. A lot of time for the player, for the Armenian player, right? This is Armenia, yeah, and Vincent playing for Germany, yeah. So yeah, rook f6 seems to be very natural. Trading, not necessarily, unless you want to get the black queen away from that diagonal or something. But nah, I wouldn't rush it. I don't like it. Maybe rook f6 for the time being. And if rook takes, queen takes. But then there is rook c8 supported by the bishop. They might be claiming the c. Well, then you're going to make a queen lift and play queen to d2. So, okay. Then you're going to play it. Back to Sam and Mishra. So what did he play? He played Queen E7, I wonder. Why is that? Why is that? Queen E7. Why? Because he wants to move away from the light squares? He wants to what? What does he want to go with the queen? Queen E7. Why? I mean, if he wanted to play, well, maybe he didn't want to commit the knights. Maybe he didn't want to, and he just moved the queen to move it. I don't know why. Mm. Oh, wait a second. There's another idea here. I suspect Queen E7 has to do with moving rook. Maybe G6, maybe F6, I don't know. But moving the rook, definitely circulating on a 6th rank. And the queen was in the rook's way to moving. That is the reason for which queen dropped Queen E6, E7, making space for the rook to move. So rook may just want to play now. G6 something. Kind of, yeah, but you can't do it now because the bishop attacks the knight. So, okay, that's we can discuss about this one. What's the thing with Queen E7? You gotta play the knight first if you wanna move the rook. So if you wanna play the rook G6, let's say, you have to move the knight first. It's not clear. Where else do you wanna go? It seems to be Mishra here is a bit cramped here. The pieces, I mean, he lacks space here. Looks like he's just trying to organize the limited options. Oh, for the black pieces. Anyway, white's to play, and Sam has got a ton of available time. A ton, a lot. Question is, again, and the old idea would be for, in case the C file gets open, you can always play rook C7 and pinning this guy to the queen. So there's also an idea. There are many ideas actually, but that's one of them. If you manage to open up the C, maybe get rid of this guy first, right? So bang, boom, and then this, and then you make the pin. Maybe. There's many floating ideas here. B4, B4, B4. AB, AB. It could be knight with double attack here. I'm not sure. So B, AB. What do you play? AB, knight, B, with the threat like this, right? So maybe you want to take the knight first. Bishop takes. No, he pushes H. He pushes H pawn. Okay. Okay. Do you know what's cool about this move? H4 allows also bishop H3 if necessary. Maybe Mishra played the queen to move it away from a potential king h2, bishop h3. Yeah, that could be. So he played queen e7 to not getting hit by the bishop. He actually anticipated h4, king h2, bishop h3. So he didn't want to do anything else. He wanted to put that queen to safety away from the bishop h3. So yeah, that could be maybe the main reason for that thing, queen e7. Yeah, I was wondering what was about that move, and that makes sense now. So just moving away. Actually, that's quite a good idea. I like it. Beautiful. So I feel, and it looks like white is doing a bit better here than black. It's just a bit better, I guess, right? Because white is calling the shots. You actually having initiative. Rook d8. Okay, rook d8 being played with an intent probably about attacking d3. Well, that would require to moving the black knights out of the rook's battery. Yeah, well, look, d3 is a backward pawn. Let's put it this way: d3 is a backward pawn, is a weakness, and black very well might just target it. So you need to move those black knights somewhere. Knight f6, of course, f6 is a one square. But which knight and when, in what exact order you're going to play this? How exactly? Knight d7 f6? Knight d7 f6. Huh, maybe. Maybe. Anyways, the rook to d potentially exerts a future battery pressure on the d3 backward pawn. So that's about the rook's. I think we can decipher that. Also, this guy, yeah, it's very versatile. You notice, guys, the bishop on g2 is very versatile. It can go on h3 when whenever necessary. He may even play this if there is a lot of pressure on the d3 backward pawn. By the way, the d3 backward pawn is not defended at the minute, so black only needs to move a knight out of the rook's way, and that guy would be attacked straight away. A move like knight d5 to f6 would attack d3 immediately, right? So there's something. A knight d5 to f6 also does not allow bishop e4. So if you're looking at this move, you can't play with white bishop e4. Well, you could play bishop f1, but it's a bit painful for white because bishop was on f1, I think, and then Sam moved it up on g2. So probably it's not very enticing to play bishop g2 to f1 now. Anyway, it is white's to play. So before we getting there, before knight f6, a knight d5 f6, which could be a potential move, white needs to figure out this exactly. I think this idea exactly you have to figure out how to react to. That's how I think. Yeah, you got to look for the d3 backward pawn. I think this is white's main weakness, guys. White's main problem is the backward pawn on d3. This is the guy. This is the problem for black here. So how do you look after that pawn? Again, bishop f1 is not that great, right? And getting a rook over to d file. If you ever dreaming about playing b4, you may want to keep the white rook on c1, so you may take advantage about that battery yourself if you're having the whites here. And now, if black moves knight d5 to f6, also b4 is a dream that may come true. I mean, that does allow white to play b4, but not now, I think. Not now. I guess I'm correct. You can't do b4 now, right? b4, a b, knight b, and you've got a massive problem about d3, knight and rook attacking d3 twice. So that's an issue. That's just a problem. So b4 not play. Okay, bishop h3. I think we said the bishop being incredibly versatile. I think that's a cool idea anyway. And I guess if this were to happen, you go for this. But what about g6? Well, heck, I don't know. Taking this guy, really? You want to? Okay, we don't know yet. Well, that stops f5. If black wanted to play f5, that just stops it for the time being. Okay, it's being stopped for the moment. Again, if knight df6, white is encouraged to break through with b3, b4. I think that makes sense. But also the d3 backward pawn has to be addressed, right? Well, maybe queen e2. I don't know. Maybe just queen c2? Yeah, we can debate on that one. So by the looks of it, white wants to form a battery on the c, which already formed it, sorry. Uh, white wants to exploit the c file, and black wants to take advantage of the d file. They're both semi-open files, so yeah, there is a pawn of each color on c and on d respectively. So let's see. What is black gonna react with here? Okay, he played the other knight. Sweet. Do you know what's instructive and nice about this position here? White is boasting the bishop pair, and black is having two knights. By the looks of it, looks like white is a bit more happy because, you know, you got a bishop pair. The requirement would be this bishop actually to being put to do a better work, because a better job here, because it's just playing defensively. It's just playing defensively, but I think white should start contemplating back b4. Let me just think, actually. There is also the bishop, right? b4, ab, ab, knight b, bishop takes. Yeah. Yeah. I think b... Okay, let me look at this again. b4, ab, ab, knight takes, bishop takes, pawn takes, rook c7. And notice how the bishop nicely takes the c8 square. That's just, that's really sweet. That's nice. I think I like the sequence. All right, so fellas, I'm going to revert back to the b4 idea. Weakness for white is d3. And the strength for white would be to break through the c file so you can put yourself a white rook on c7. And okay, about the d3, well, you can't have them all. If you create a... if you dominate on the c file, which by the looks of it, of course you do, you can attack the queen with tempo, and then maybe you got time for bishop e4 to defend this guy. That's quite a few questions, but anyway. Okay, I like this game. I think it's very instructive. It's very positional, you know? It is very positional, if I may say that. Predictable to a degree. I think it's an incredibly strategical, positional game with a lot of time for white and not so much available time for black here. So white is doing very well. Time-wise, and I think from a positional point of view, also white is calling the shots. The game is not over, not at all, but if you factor in the limited available time for black and the fact that white is boasting the bishop pair, probably white is more optimistic following the b4 breakthrough pawn and stuff. We'll see about that. We'll see about that. Perhaps we should be looking now at Haig and Vincent Keimer. Let's look at this, guys. That's another interesting, superb idea. Whoa, whose turn is it? Black's turn. Guys, there is something definitely about the F file. Unless you play a check, you can't move this rook because it's pinned. So you can't do it. Wait a minute. It's black's turn. It's not white. Is black going to do rook AC? I really wonder. Is black going to play rook AC8? And then perhaps black intends to play rook C1. No, you can't. because there is a queen on the rook. So, but definitely battery is required. I mean, you can't keep the rook on a8. It doesn't do nothing. Black already has a passive bishop, the bishop on e6, which is very, very, very passive. It's like a pawn, this guy. So, guys, this is the perfect definition of a bad pawn. If you ever wondered what's a bad pawn in chess, this is the guy. You're looking at it. That's a bad bishop, so to speak. Anyway, worse, way more ineffective than the bishop on d3. So the bishop on e6 is very, very unhappy currently. The reason being you are actually blocked by your own pawn and you're attacking less than the white bishop, which, look at this guy. Look at the huge difference in between the white pawn on d3. Thank you for subscribing or following, my friend, wherever you may be. So look at the difference in between the two bishops. Look at how opened and how beautiful the diagonals for the light square bishop on d3 and the other black bishop, how limited they are. Well, more limited that is. Yeah, there is something about this diagonal, of course. It takes away from white, those squares, but I guess you're not going to use them for the time being anyway. Right, so I'm going to throw in some approximation here. Rook, some anticipation, possible, how they call it, candidate moves. Rook a c8 to just making a battery. And for white, I'm looking at queen f2, just to move away from the pin and perhaps, you know, you will be able to play rook f6. I think white is a little bit better here. You got to take a step by step, chief. You've got to play rapid games, so don't do bullet or blitzes. So go for longer time control games. Um, analyze them after you play. So you better propose yourself to play one or two rapid games a day than 100 bullet games in which you don't know what happened. No one knows what happened in the bullet unless you're a super GM. So play 2, 3 rapid games a day, long time control, and then analyze them step by step. At the same time, look at your openings, see if you actually played bad stuff in the first 4 or 5 moves. And if that's the case, you need to address them and play the theoretical moves. If this thing finishes like, I don't know, 41 hour minutes, we can look at some of your personal games that you played. And I'm happy to analyze them together with you, at least one, maybe two of your games. Preferably rapids that you played. Because again, if you do a lot of bullets, it's not the wisest thing. And I'm pretty certain, because it happens in all the cases, if you do rapids, if you analyze your rapids, if you're seriously committed to improving, you're gonna do it. You're gonna be performing better. Of course you will. So you can type in your username, and we're gonna look at most recent game you played. And at the same time, another tool, Chief, is looking at this games played by this grandmasters, super strong grandmasters, and try to anticipate yourself and try to think the ideas they think. So simply try to understand why they did what they did. For instance, this move h3 was played because mainly we want to. Oh, someone at the door. Because tries to stop the h4 from coming down and opening the h. So h3 puts a stop to the black pawn from moving, so to speak. You need not worry about his pawn because you're going to play rook f6 straight away, and that's devastating for black. For instance, just explaining. h3, amongst others, allows king to h2. Therefore, if there is any, at some point, proposition from black to swap the rooks, it's not going to happen. Now, this is a weird-looking move for the time being, because the H file is closed for now. How is black planning on to opening? I don't know. I think it's a limited move. I don't see the clear future about playing rook to h8 because Unless you're pushing this guy and try to break through somehow, I'm not seeing clearly what exactly the intent was here with rook h8. And if black ever pushes this guy down the board, that would be streaming for the time being, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate. It's not quite the best flavor, but I accept this. That's fine. Thank you. Okay. No, 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 that's fine. Leave it here. Leave it here. That's fine. Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate a bunch. Yes. Yeah. So this kind of stuff will be terribly weakening the defenses for black here. Yeah. Totally. 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 So I think white's definitely better. What do you think, Chief? You think white or black? There you go, King H2, which I did speculate just a few seconds ago. I did say that King H2 is one of the candidate moves for white, and it's incredibly nice and safe, and it's cool. Definitely, definitely, I'd rather have the white pieces here than black. White only needs to try to figure out where to place the white queen in order to take advantage of the rook f6 ideas. I think queen f2 would be a nice one, right? Queen f2 for a few reasons. Queen f2 together with the rook will also hit like twice on h4. Rook f6 becomes playable. Hell, can you get queen to f6 though? Because I'd like that one maybe a bit more. Sacking the rook, what do you exactly mean? At what stage do you want to sack the rook? Now I'm not sure it's going to work though. You got to tell me the exact sequence where and how exactly. If you wanted to sack it in this fashion, this guy would have taken, you would have taken again, check, right? And then bishop takes, and when you take the queen, rook takes. Yeah. Anyway, the black king had been moved on g8 now, and I tried to figure out what's the main idea. Probably going away from a potential queen to f6, but how exactly were you planning to moving there? It's the question here, you see. It's not very clear. Weird. Anyway, Vincent Keimer decided that g8 is the safest square for the black king. You see. So he decided that's the safest square. Right. Rook f3, rook left. What on earth? Okay, the rook's free to go, so to speak. I mean, the rook on f4 is free to go. Queen e4. Queen e4 will be taken by the pawn, right? I'm not sure I really grasp your idea. Now, queen e4 really not quite playable because of the black pawn. So I don't think so. And now I'm just trying to decipher what's with the rook f3 move, rook f1. That's okay. That's why we're discussing together in a very friendly manner here. So it's okay. Rook f1 to f3. I wonder what's the idea behind it. I mean, okay, to free up the rook on f4 to go whatever they want, and if queen takes, rook takes. But I don't think white wants to trade queens. Oh, I think I know. It's the Alekhine's gun. Have you ever heard of the Alekhine's gun, Chief? It's queen e3 to f2 when you're having the rooks preceding the queen and the queen behind them. And now I think we are going to see queen f2 right away. Queen f2, which moves away from the potential of trading queens. Queen f2 to stop queen g3. We got to be careful about that one. So queen f2 completely demotes queen g3 because queen takes, pawn takes, king takes, and practically is just getting really worse for black. So queen f2 I think is highly recommendable. But let's see if the Armenian grandmaster concludes as we just did. So queen f2 I would go for here. Queen f2. Queen f2, and we can explore some other crazinesses afterwards. Queen f2. No, I am not a grandmaster. No, I'm just a chess coach with years of experience in primary schools. Mainly, chiefly, I'm teaching kids and primary school students a lot, and I'm working with the chess clubs in London, West Central London. So, but I'm not a grandmaster. You can find my bio on the Lee Chess or chess.com, and yeah, it's a rapid of 1752, the FIDE LO, if you are interested in that, and like 2000, 2200, the rapid. No, no, no. As I said, it's just 2000 the Blitz and 2200 the Rapid. So I'm not a grandmaster. No. But as I said, I have some years experience, and that's really helpful. Okay, so white to play here, and looks to me, okay, he didn't play queen f2, he played queen to e, and I think that serves more attacking ideas. Queen e2 stops g3 idea if black ever intended, well, you can't do that because there is a rook, but I think queen e2 wants to go for this. Or maybe for this? Wait a second. Queen a5, actually. So as long as rook on f3, there is no queen g3, right? So Queen to a5, attacking this and this. Two weaknesses, right? So queen here. And if b6, what do you play? So as long as white had secured the g3, so there is no check, queen is free to go to attack something. Maybe back rank. You know, maybe back ranks. I'm not sure how you're going to make it on the back rank, but it's worth a shot, right? So I suspect queen a5. Queen a5, queen a5, queen a5. Black queen is also able to travel back if necessary, right? And the rook is able to drop on the back rank again if necessary. So queen can go on d8. But queen a5 looks like quite the attacking stuff. Queen a5, right? You guys correct me if I'm missing stuff or I'm blundering. I might blunder, of course, so do tell me if I blunder something. Queen a5. Queen a5, I like it. You know, it's also possible if you want to stop the black queen from moving back, there is rook f6 that will cut off completely the queen from. There you go. I just said it and it just happened because it made a lot of sense. Rook f6 stops the black queen, so you can't move to the back rank at all. It's just great position for white, for Haig here. It's a great idea. Rook f6 blocking the queen. Queen a5 is coming. Is definitely coming sooner or later. King had been moved on g7 yet again. We'll see. Black's to play. Black's to play. I guess black would like to do something about this. I'm not sure. Will he try also this? Yeah, but I think it's a very, very nice and instructive ending here. I love it. I just love it. Rook f6. He only played rook e8. Interestingly. Very, very interestingly. Okay, maybe to drop the king. Maybe for many other ideas. What's this? Maybe rook e7. Maybe, perhaps. Okay. More like defensive. Rook e8 doesn't serve any attacking idea. It's just purely defensive. It's just making space for the black king to go somewhere if really in great need. Whites to play. And then again, can I highlight on the screen this? Queen a5. Queen a5. Might this be the move? I really wonder. I really wonder about this. Queen a5. Is it? Awesome stuff. I'm happy to hear it is the best in your opinion. I don't know what a software or engine would say because I do not use it during the coverage of live games. So Queen a5 looks to me attacks seriously rook and pawn at the same time. Exactly as you said, Chief, it's a fork indeed. It's a fork. And definitely white a bit better, right? I'm not saying black does not have resources to defend or to continue the current position, but looks to me like white is a bit better here. I mean, I would rather have the white pieces. Ways to counterattack for black would be some queen to c1. Maybe you can attack b2 if you're playing with the black pieces at some point. White to play, but I'm just speculating now if white were to look at something, black were to attack something. So maybe these ideas. Shall we go, guys, quickly back to the other guys? Who are they? Sam and Mishra. Oh, that's another spectacular game these guys are playing. It's just beautiful. Okay, knight, all right. H5, cool stuff. Discouraging any g6 in case there is a bishop to f5 to defend d3 due to the double rooks. There is no g6, probably. So h5 serves the purpose of discouraging g6. So you could actually exploit bishop f5. You could play bishop f5. There is no g6 happening. Very cool, very nice. Again, b4 is another idea for white here. I think we discussed this previously. Definitely b4, another idea. That's another position. So yes, Chief, I'd say looking at this Grandmaster games and trying to decipher with your own mind, understanding what's supposed to happen, why did they do it, if there were other ways to do that, another great exercise for all of us. So yeah. So whenever you got some time available in your time in your schedule, uh, do rapid, analyze them, look at live games played at grandmasters or strong players that you admire and wanna watch them playing, and try to figure out for yourself what's the best move to play. So that's gonna help you too. And just keep a record how many moves you managed to anticipate, how many candidate moves actually came to happen, and see how many stuff you got right. So you will be forced to think for both white and black. And if you manage to do this for 1 hour, for I don't know, 1 hour, 2 hour, again, it depends completely on your time, on your available time. Then it's just great. And you will also see your personal rating improving to some degree, of course, because um, the fundamentals for any type of improvement is your understanding. So if your understanding gets wider and you see more and understand more, then the game will modify and your choices would be more mature and stuff. So what did it happen here? Oh, bishop f5. Oh, we just discussed about bishop f5. And there you go. There you go. That confirms what I said, that the h5 prevents g6. So that's not going to happen. And bishop f5 now defends the d3, which, as I said, I think half an hour ago, I said that the battery looks at the backward pawn because d3 is a backward pawn. And actually, it is white's main weakness. And that's the reason Sam played here bishop f5, bishop f5 and queen now defending twice. Black rooks attack twice, bishop and queen defend twice, d3. That's great. Cool. And you can't challenge this guy because pawn takes, bishop takes is just great. That would be a disaster for black. So that's, but just to showing how that thing really demotes black from pushing g6. That's what I wanted to highlight. And now the question is again, if we can investigate b4 for white. Looks like they reached move number 40. Therefore, I think they just gotten half an hour each, which, offers more than enough time to play this one carefully and finding the best possible way to continue. It's just great. All right. So shall we investigate b4 again? b4, a b, knight b, bishop takes, and then rook c7. I mean, it seems to my understanding it's quite safe and it's quite good to play this. What do you think, guys? Do you think b4 is one idea for black? Sorry, for white. For white, b4. b4, a b. Well, they might take with a pawn, though. And, well, you're going to take the bishop regardless. Bishop takes, knight takes. Yeah, but in principle, if you manage to get a rook on c7, that's the best thing ever for white. Well, not the best thing ever, but quite a good thing. Unless you want to trade off on the back rank, rook c8. So I think for white, opening up the c file is good anytime, regardless. It's really good opening up the c file. Okay, let me go back to this position now. The rookie. Oh, that had been played already. White to play and it didn't move. Oh, this is move 33, by the way, guys. They need to reach move number 40. If I remember correctly, the format is you get to 40 moves and then you're going to be added half an hour on your clock. So, yeah. Queen f2 back? I mean, he spent like 10 minutes and he went back. Queen f2? Really? Queen f2. Okay. I mean, it's not like he's got weaknesses or anything. Seems to be slightly uncommitting. I mean, oh, okay. Maybe he wants to play rook f4. Maybe he wants to play rook f4. I'm not sure though. I mean, it would be a double attack here on h4. Maybe. Hey, I need a new cup. Okay, well, let's finish this coffee first and we'll take it from there. Okay. Okay, we finished it. Time to pour ourselves something else. Okay. All right. Okay, that will do for now. I think that will just do for now. All right. What were we? Ooh, now getting interesting. Okay. What do you play? Rook CE7. My god, this is so utterly defensive. Oh boy, I mean, that must be painful for Vincent. Having two black rooks and rather than on an open file, those rooks are serving completely defensive ideas and nothing else. I think this is so painful for black to do this kind of stuff. And yeah, black needs to defend the b7 with the rook, so the rook has to stay on the 7th rank. Wow. Those two rooks actually were meant to be on the c file. So if you look at a position now, and if you play a little game asking yourself, where would you like to have your double rooks? You would say, I want my double rooks on the open file, right? So that's something weird with those rooks there. Unless there is a thing, guys. There is a bloody thing which is moving the, what? He wants to move the bishop away like this? Like why? No, maybe he wants to play this? I don't think so. No. Whose turn is it? White's turn. Okay, I would play rook f4 here. I would just play rook f4. And I will get one rook back on h. Rook f4, rook f4, rook f4, rook f4, g3. The reason I'm saying this stuff about g3, which is weird, would be that if, but that's not a good one, especially if rook goes on h8 together with the bishop h3 would be a massive liability. Okay. Okay, cool, 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 cool. No problem. Thank you. So I think it's drinkable, but so I didn't want to be ungrateful. I did not want to be ungrateful. So thank you for this. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate a lot. Hello, Mo's and Chess. Yes. So the last part of the round number 2 classical here, and I'd rather have the white pieces, Mose. I don't know what color you would favor here, but I'll totally go for having the white pieces because I've got the bishop here incredibly active and rooks completely dominating on the F and incredibly versatile white queen. So totally, totally having whites. And move 36, 28 minutes for Armenian Grandmaster, and black is just 3 minutes and some, well, 4 minutes almost, less than. And they need 4 more moves in order to get a half an hour bonus increment time added. They need 4 more moves. What is black trying to? Rook h8 had been played to defend h4 just in case if queen f2 or queen e1 attacking twice. No, I think you can. Well, I've got to tell you with absolute certainty. We need to check the terms and conditions for the streaming. I think a minor can, um, if the content of what you're doing is appropriate with your age, if an adult supervises the stream or something, you need to look into the terms and condition. Ah, that's great. That's great then. Yes, yes. So if your parents or legal guardian supervises, you know, it shouldn't be any issue with that one. Again, providing you just do a content which is very much appropriate with your age category, it shouldn't be any issue with that, I guess. But then again, maybe it's worth quickly reading through the terms and conditions. I never thought about that one. I know there's a lot of young folks streaming gaming content and stuff, so you might not be the only one doing it, you know. So queen b4, that's just great. Queen b4 is just great because it attacks the rook. So when you're attacking, it's just very well to do that. Pressure on the rook. Now, rook will have to move. And you can't move on the back rank. You can't play rook e7, rook e8 because b7 is hanging. So he will probably have to go where? c7? Either c7 or d7. If you go c7, it could be further pressure with queen a5 still attacking your rook, or black's rook, let's put it like this. Yeah. Queen a5, queen a5, queen a5. After rook moves to either c7 or d7, I'm not sure where black's going to move. There you go. Queen c, rook c7. Exactly as I said. Rook c7, now queen a5. Seems to be a very natural continuation here. Queen a5, attacking rook, attacking a7. So you do attack those two weaknesses, and I think it's recommendable here to play this. Queen a5. Yeah, I don't see why not. Mm-hmm. Totally. Queen a5. What else is here? Should you do queen d6 rather than queen a5? But I normally prefer to attacking more targets than just one. So queen a5 attacks the rook and the pawn. Queen d6 attacks just the rook. Now there is another subtlety here about playing queen d6 rather than queen a5. Let's say rook goes, I don't know, let's just give an example. Rook goes c1 or c8. You just choose your stuff. Although I think rook is going to play d7. You know why? It's imperative. Because if you don't, queen comes to e7 and then f6. And then you might have an issue. You might have a big issue then. So it is white's turn to play. I guess if you do queen d6, rook might place itself on d7. Oh, good to see you again, Chief. That's fine, man. Cool. Appreciate your presence, my friends. That's cool. So, I see you're using the mobile phone screen. That's cool. Well, as a viewer, of course. Uh, okay. So, ideally, if you could pick up the queen now and drop it on f6 would be best because that's the ideal square for the queen to beat. Um, so the black rook is seriously overworked now. Queen d6, rook d7, and you have to move the queen again, and then you're going to play queen c5, attacking the pawn. Um, we can debate. So, guys, feel free to debate if queen a5 or queen d6. Which one's most aggressive? You got to ask yourselves. We have to ask ourselves. Queen d6, there you go. Bloody hell, so I'm not talking nonsense after all. Okay, we're looking at those ones. Yes. So, Marian, you've got to keep in mind that if you do a live stream, you're going to have every now and then, sometimes more often, or I don't know, you're going to have some guys that will be just trolling you, trying to know you big time. So I'd recommend if someone just starts talking super bad stuff and swearings and things, just ban them straight away. You know, there is a function there. I'm using some softwares here and I just banned the guy completely from all over the platforms. So do not tolerate guys that are talking incredibly bad. No, don't just ignore it. Ban them. You don't ignore someone that swears like a maniac. So you're going to have to ban them forever. Okay, cool. So keep this in mind. Yes. All right, so queen d6 had been played. Let me see what I missed there. Queen d6, rook d7. As we said, rook couldn't have played because after this and this, black is seriously in super uncomfortable position. Queen a3 attacking a7 amongst others. A3, a6 played by black to defend this particular weakness. And now, guys, we are free to continue the deciphering of the position. Again, white seems to be calling the shots here and attacking, doing the attack. How do we get the white queen on f6? Actually, I would love to get a queen there. How do we get there? Step by step, maybe some queen c5, queen b4, queen b6. Positioning the queen on the b file could be a way to playing this position. Queen b4, queen c5. Well, I'd like to put queen b6 and then we'll take it from there. Yeah, and now they will get, guys, they will get half an hour, both players. So that would be very good news for Vincent Keimer. The guy's on 2 minutes. That's a problem. American queen c3 for queen f. Yeah, you know something? The white queen already been on f2. So Haig had used the queen from f2. He traveled via e1 and a5. He already was on f2 at some point. He looks for other ways to explore. Yeah, okay, queen c3 allows you to travel back on f2. But how exactly are you taking advantage of the position here? So you have the white rook's battery on the F. You've got the queen completely dominating on the queen side. What weaknesses are you going after? How exactly you going to get a white queen on F6 though? I mean, how you get there? It looks like a monolith. It looks like a very, very petrified structure here with the rook that looks after this guy, the pawn on b7. How? I mean, you can't touch it, right? You can't attack the b7. Rook supported by the bishop. Okay, very uncomfortable for black. It's nothing to be very envious of. I mean, looks. Hey, that's a brilliant idea, dude. B4 in order to play b5 seems to be very, very reasonable. I actually love your idea. I think it's great. I think the idea you just said is just great. B4 in order to play b5, it's just great. It's one way to play if you are to do something on the queen side. I think this one is definitely worth all the attention. It's definitely something here. B4, b5. I like it. I really do. I'm not seeing anything else. I'm not seeing a clear way to crack to open up the F or getting the queen on f6. I'm not seeing how exactly I'm going to do that if I were with the whites here. So, yeah, I'd probably definitely investigate b4, b5. Because I guess the reason you proposed b4 is because you want to push b5. And when the black pawn takes, bishop's going to take back attacking the rook. So I think that's good. It's really good. It's really, really good. Oh yeah, Chief, not to forget, don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel so, we can get to see each other again virtually, so to speak, on my future streams, especially if we are to analyze some of your rapids that you played. That would be one stuff. Plus, there is a lot of chess video for, let's say, novices, intermediate players, and that might be quite useful. So, yep. Of course, guys, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Okay, where were we? Oh, let's go to the other game. We're gonna move back to watching Hake and Vincent. And now we're gonna look at Sam. Where were we last time? Last time I was discussing about the b4 interesting way to opening up the c for the white rooks. But the guys went for something different. So bishop f5 we discussed. Knight goes back. And queen to f3. Queen to f3. Why? Oh boy. What? Queen to f3. Well, I mean, it's okay. What's the stuff, queen f3? What's the thing with queen f3? What do you want to do? What does white want to do, queen f3? Queen f3. Okay, Okay, it may be something with... You want to push g? You want to play the king? And then moving this bishop and then trying something? With rook h1, rook h4. You want to get the rooks over too? Okay, that's a bit too much of a stretch, but you never know. Queen e8 anyway. Bishop h3 moving back. Why? Why did they move the bishop back? Mosen, Chief, guys, why did bishop play bishop h3? Why did Sam move bishop h3? Why is that? Why bishop h3? Was anyone attacking the bishop? Nope. So why did he retreat that bishop? Does he wanna do something else? Yeah, but that will take like a billion years, right? And it's so. No, don't say that because hey Martin, thanks very much for your idea, my friend. So you're saying that because of 97, But couldn't you have moved bishop h3 when that thing was actually going to happen? Or there is a tempo move I'm missing again? Yes, that is correct. Yes, and d3. Yes, Martin had found it, guys. Yeah, that's the reason. So thanks very much, Kramer. I do appreciate your idea. It's just awesome. Guys, we've got the reason for bishop h3. Knight e7, which would have attacked your beautiful light square bishop, and at the same time, the backward pawn on d3, which is a huge weakness for white, so to speak. Well, the main weakness would be attacked, and you don't have good moves. So bishop h3 preserves the bishop, and if knight e7, eventually you might be able to play bishop f1. Guys, those guys are cutting the grass, making a huge noise outside the room. Okay, I hope it's my god. So bishop h, okay, bishop h3. Yes, if knight e7, probably bishop's going to play bishop f1, right? You still have to defend that pawn. You can't just lose the pawn. Yes, makes sense. That's great. Guys, if you don't hear it, it's just be me, and I hope they're going to be finishing in a few minutes. Okay, that's fine. No problemo. Let's proceed with our game here now. Yes, what a beautiful insight from Martin. Great. Black to play. Okay, they've got plenty of time now. They've got 50 minutes, Mishra, and my God, 1 hour 20 for Sam. He can't say he didn't have time. You can't say you blunder, you didn't see it, because there is like a ton of time. A very instructive one. It's the classical rivalry here, the two bishop versus two knight sort of middle game to ending. So let's see who is going to actually do better here. The bishop on h3 is a monster of a bishop, taking all the light squares. This guy would be incredibly happy if you manage to get this bishop over to A. You could say that that bishop would be again incredibly powerful and active. I don't know how you're gonna get the bishop on A. I'm not sure what to say. I'd rather go for the bishops. I am biased. I love bishops a bit more than the knights. I gotta tell you that. I'm always looking for ways to save my bishops if I can, because they have a longer range attack, controlling more squares. If the diagonals and lines are open, the bishops are superior. If the position is closed, or, as we can see now, quite a few tactics still to happen, yeah, you can maneuver those knights. But what exactly the practical plan is here for black to go for? The weakness for white is the d3 backward pawn. How do you attack that weakness? Please do. Yeah. How exactly you're going to be targeting the d3 weakness? Because that's the only way you could do something, dream of. But hey, guys, look at this one, knight h7. That's a interesting, slightly unexpected move. Knight h7, because knight g5. I guess now you gotta move. You gotta move the queen. You gotta move the queen. The question is where, guys. You know what's weird? If you play queen e2, let's just say, if you play queen e2, knight's gonna happen. You're gonna drop the bishop, right? Then when this guy plays the other knight, d5 to f6, you're still gonna have the double pressure on the d3. So you gotta think carefully. Perhaps for white is recommended bishop f1. Just saying, maybe bishop f1. And after knight, where do you move? Queen g2? Or do you go queen g4? It's just too much. Too much exposure for the queen. So bishop f1 would be an idea. Thank you very much for following or subscribing, Chief. So bishop f1. to move away from the potential fork, which is going to happen. There's no question about it. You can't prevent it. You can't stop knight g5. And if you know it's going to happen, you better play now. And you have to play anticipatory, defending d3 from the two black rooks targeting d3. So that's how I think about a position. Again, guys, if I blunder or I'm missing strategical ideas, please do let me know. That was a nice find by Mishra. A very nice find. Knight h7 for reposition and knight g5. What a magnificent fork over there coming now. So bishop f1, right? What would you play, guys? What would you play? Yes, yeah, that's another idea. Rook over to f6. This is another great, interesting, superb idea. Chief, that's just phenomenal. I love it. Rook f6 is just great. Yeah, you kind of have to pay attention. Yeah, there's just a great pressure here. Knight g5 combined with rook f6, looking at f3 because we're talking about the f3 is just great. It is indeed. So, by the looks of it, guys, there are resources for black to play here. We have the two knights. The game is still very tactical. Bishop f1. I'm happy that at least Sam concluded the same as myself with dropping bishop to f1. Because whatever happens, when this guy is going to move, that means the black knight on d5, d3 is actually the big weakness for white here. So bishop f1 completely defending, covering that weakness. Now after knight g5, you're going to have to decide where you move the queen. That's quite an important question. More important is to finding the answer. So knight g5, where do you move the queen? And knight g5 comes with a plethora of other questions. Apart from the fact you got to find a square for the queen, I think you need to anticipate something like e4. That's another stuff. Yeah. It's Blackstone, by the way. It's Blackstone. So all of a sudden, after something like knight g5, which wins a massive tempo, and then black has initiative again. So after knight g5, queen has to move, and at the same time, you have to think about the e4 coming down the board. That is for black. I'm not sure that's the best move ever, but that's an idea. Because the knight on g5 is exactly on that super good square attacking. Where do you move the queen? Queen g2? So my 2 cents would be knight g5 and then what? Queen g2? Yes. Yes, Boson, that is correct. The h5 is something you gotta be careful with because you never know. Maybe the f pawn is gonna be played. After queen leaves the f file, maybe black's gonna push the f pawn. And then h5 is going to be attacked indirectly by the, well, not indirectly, discovered attack, I wanted to say. If, say, queen g2, something like f5, maybe in preparation for e4, also queen attacks h5. There's a lot of data to be properly evaluated here. That's why chess is so fascinating, so beautiful, but also so difficult. Because whatever you play has a lot of consequences here. Every single little apparently innocuous move has tons of consequences. For instance, if you move queen to g2, that's quite a thing. If you move queen to e2, that's a disaster because of the d3 backward pawn after knight plays, I don't know, c7 or f6 or something. So there's quite a few things happening, guys. Beautiful. Anyway, I totally love it. Rook h8, which, by the way, the black rook was there quite a few times. Queen had traveled back to e1. He was here like 10 moves ago. Queen was on e1. Queen to c now. Where does the queen want to go? Well, it stops rook c7, that's for sure. Where do you want to go? Yeah, there is something with the diagonal c1 h6, but that doesn't really work. The check, that means, because queen is defended by the rook and by the king, so it's not going to work. Maybe he want to do something else, but what exactly? Queen c1. Does he want to travel c5 and then to push b4 and b5? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Maybe stops rook d because of this. Rook f7? Bishop takes, rook. Yeah! Rook battery is incredibly important, Chief. Very important rook battery. Very good you brought up this idea because rook battery is paramount. So, guys, by the looks of it, queen c1 prevents rook d8. Because if you do rook d8, I think you sort of lose the black queen. You correct me, guys, if I'm wrong. Because of the rook sacrifice on f7, check, the point being deflecting the black king away from defending the queen. So I guess rook d8 would be one big blunder for black if you were to play. Just saying. You guys tell me if I'm correct on this. So if rook h to d8 by some reason, I guess rook f7 works. Check. Rook takes or bishop takes. Rook takes. No, rook takes. It doesn't work. No, I don't think it works. So rook d8. We have to calculate. Rook takes f7. Bishop takes. Rook takes. Rook takes. Not king takes. Rook takes. Let's not play wishful chess. No, it doesn't work. So black could potentially play rook d8 because the sacrifice doesn't work. Not now. I guess it's got to be something else. I'd rather go back. I think Mosen said something like b4, b5, and I think I'm actually reverting back to that stuff. Queen c5 now, I wonder, or b4 first, b4 and then b5. I don't know. Maybe b4, b5 now. Mm. Yes, because rook battery is incredibly important in attack because you're going to be dominate on that that open file or rank. Incredibly important. Yes, it is. Very instructive. Okay, rook e8 had been played now. So it doesn't work, this sacrifice. I thought, and I projected the wrong idea, that actually rook f7, bishop takes, rook takes. Obviously, he's not going to take with the king, he's going to take with the rook. So you didn't do nothing apart from just losing the game. So that one doesn't really work. Rook f7, it doesn't work, it loses the game. White's turn to play. Yeah, queen g5 was. Yes, Mosen, I subscribe to your thoughts. Yes, I think it's b4, b5, one way to be playing the position. I love it. b4 and b5. If black were to take, then bishop takes, and obviously you're sort of winning. Big material, and yeah. b4, b5, definitely one very good option. He played a4 first. He just played it. You said b4, he pushed a4. I guess he wants to make sure he prevents any b5. Ah, bingo. You see? Grandmaster. That's what it is. If we had played b4, Mosen, black would have potentially stopped it with b5, played by black. Whereas if you play a4, you do not allow black to respond with b5. So now you could actually play b4 and you are going to challenge b to b4 and then b4. So totally, absolutely super cool here. I love it. So a4 stops b5 from black. And he's going to exploit that weakness. b4 and b5. That's just brilliant. Brilliant find uh, by Hake. B4, B5. It's just. Mhm. B5 is bad for who? B5 would be incredibly good for white, and B5 can't be played now by black. It's a disaster, B5. B5, not because A4, no, no. I think B5 is a disaster if black were to play because I'm going to take either create a pass pawn, and if you take back with A, it's bishop B5 is just a disaster for black. So B5 is good for white, is a disaster for black. Yeah, sure, of course, rook b8. Probably. I don't think black has too many options here, so yeah, probably something like this. White may respond, queen c5 maybe. Yeah, it's very bad. So Mosen, I agree with your stuff. It's very bad for black b5. Either for them to play or white to push. So that's, yeah, b5 is a problem. Well, maybe black, exactly. Maybe black needs to move the rooks away from being on the same diagonal, the white diagonal. They got to move away the rooks. I agree. Yes. Yeah. The rooks are not on the most ideal diagonal, if I may say that, because of this guy on d3. So that's a problem. Rook a8. I've just read your message. Now I'm trying to figure out rook a8. That doesn't stop white from pushing b2 to b4, though. You could play rook a8. I don't think it's wrong. You could play rook a8. Again, I don't think it's wrong, but it's not that great. I mean, I don't think it improves anything for black, apart from moving the rook away from being in a unfortunate diagonal. I don't think it creates a big advantage. It's just a defensive, kind of like desperate type of move, which kind of has to be played anyway. You got to move the rooks away from being aligned in this way. Yes, so he moved one of the two rooks. Again, very defensive choice. He tries to create a sort of blockade, if I may say that. So he tries to secure the black king, keeps the position as it is, defending at all costs. And now the initiative back to white. How you are playing here. I think we could definitely investigate b4, b5. Regardless, that's one way to play it. You have to do this. Due to the fact the bishop is so active, and you totally go for this. You need to try and see if you can generate any sort of advantage on the queen side. Totally. b4, b5. Absolutely. Absolutely. f5, I think it's a disaster for black because, chief, there is the en passant. So let's not forget about the en passant. f5 for black is a disaster, I think. You tell me if you think I'm wrong, but I think f5 allows e5 takes f6 en passant, and that's check, and that's a fork, actually. Black's gonna lose on the spot. So f5 loses for black immediately. Loses big material, check, opens the f, the rook on e7 will be captured for sure, and game is just over. At that stage, game is over. So f5 cannot be played, unfortunately. Bishop f5, again, it's not good because bishop will take, you take back with a pawn, right? You weakening the Black King's defenses tremendously. Wow, A5 fixes a massive weakness on B7, so that guy will never be able to be moved, so to speak, downwards or upwards, depends how you want to look at this. So A5 fixes this guy, fixes the pawns on light squares first, which is a weakness because you've got a light square bishop. So this bishop had been deemed completely passive. Yeah, you could, but also you're losing the protection for the D5 pawn, chief. So if there is ever for white to, I don't know how you get around, maybe like the oopsie, maybe like this. So if bishop plays on C8, there is the isolated pawn on D5, which will be attacked. So bishop C8, I totally understand what you're saying. You want to drop the bishop on C8, fine, but you give up on the D5 pawn. So white's going to attack it somehow. I guess queen c2, queen b3, queen. I don't know which way you want to go. Probably like this. So I'm not sure. Rook f6. So after queen c2, white can explore rook f6 ideas and stuff. Yeah, I think it's going more and more difficult for black to keep the position. It's getting more and more difficult. Now, Haig had very wisely placed the white pawn on dark square. Therefore, the black bishop can't attack it. So it's very difficult for black now to finding any workable idea. I mean, you don't have any attacking stuff to play here. You can't do any attacking ideas. There's nothing to. How do you attack? How exactly are you going to attack what? Again, G5 so much doesn't work because of the rook F6. And I mean, nothing works for black. You just shuffle the rooks, but where do you move them? Or just move king back rank in 7th, 8th, and 7th rank. Uh, I don't see any other ways for black. Rook C8. Yeah, you could play Rook C8. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess you can. You attack the queen, that is. Rook C8. Yeah, you can. And then probably Queen D, probably Queen D2 or Queen D1. Which one is it? Queen D. Yeah. If Rook C8, Queen's gonna move, of course. Not a problem though for white, I guess. Again, I would rather have the white pieces here than the black pieces. Rook C8, Queen D2, Queen D2 again, maybe Queen F2, maybe Queen B4, and if you, yeah, I mean, there are ideas. So more problems for black than for white. More problems for black than for white. I think Vincent has some issues here with the defenses. So yeah, good job for Haig. So far, so good. Shall we go briefly, guys, back to Sam and Mishra? Another fabulous game here, very instructive, in which the tactics of the middle game prove to be very volatile, very versatile. I mean, we've got a bishop pair versus the two black knights. And look at this. Look at this. Can you believe that actually the bishops are both on the back rank for white? Can you believe how strong the knight on g5 is? The knight on g5. What a monster of a knight. And the black queen keeps an eye on the h5 continuously. Wow. So we would normally go to say, yeah, give me the bishop pair. Yeah, I want a bishop pair. But look at the position here. Because how do you make use of your diagonals? D3 is a backward weak pawn. So you constantly need to have the bishop to look after the pawn, so to speak. And also you got to keep the bishop to defend h3 against the black knight. You never know when they might be jumping. And if there is a problem for that knight, goes back on g5. It's just a very interesting position here. And Mishra plays so brilliantly. Such a phenomenal tactics in the middle. I just love it. The way Mishra plays this one with the two black knights is just great. So we can now debate if we're gonna see rook f6 maybe, or the other knight, knight d5, knight d5, knight d5, f6. There will be double attack on the h5. You just need to look for weaknesses. And I guess a move like, let me just I know it's white's turn, by the way, but just saying, imagine black plays knight f6. Imagine. That would mean double attack of the two black rooks on d3, and that would mean double attack of the knight and of the queen on h5. I know, I know, I know it's whites to go. Hey, b4 after like a billion years. I did say about b4 so many times. And probably Sam concluded, look, I just can't tolerate this any longer. If you keep messing around here, I think we're gonna you're gonna have some knight f6, and I don't know what you're playing. So he decided that actually now it's the time to push b4, which I did say ages ago. No, I don't. Maybe ish, maybe not. Black, seriously. No, I don't think so. Pieces are gonna get traded. Knight's gonna be so happy about queen leaving the f3 protection of. So I'm not sure about the d4 for white. I think this one is safer. I think b4 is safer. The idea being if you manage to take advantage of the c somehow, but let's say ab, ab. If knight b, bishop takes, and if pawn takes, again, maybe you could play rook c7 yourself. There is an idea. Anyway, the bishop on e1 doesn't do a damn thing, and this guy is so dangerous, especially because of knight f6. So you see, if you get rid of that black knight, if you trade the black knight because you just played b4, um, that's how you get rid of that super dangerous knight attacking you with the queen twice on h5. And you open up the c for your rooks. So if you put it in this perspective, maybe b4 is for the better. What do you think, guys? So b4 with the purpose of, I mean, it's a multi-purpose move. b4, it's not just a one shot, it's just one strike. b4 is a very multi-purpose move. Big ramifications, big consequences everywhere. Very many things. b4 is that kind of very committal move. There is no going back. Following b4, well, that's a truism. In chess, there is never any way to go back. But, you know, b4, I want to say very, very committal. AB, AB, knight, bishop, pawn. Then queen moves, right? Because d3 being attacked by both rooks. Queen moves, I don't know where. Queen moves somewhere. Maybe b2. I aim to, Chief. I aim to. But now because the schools are getting closer to holiday and stuff, I might be having a bit more available time for live streams. So I would aim to try some 1-2 hours to live stream. Yeah. So if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you should get notification every single time I'm going live. So you know, we can see each other again virtually, so to speak, and that's okay. So yeah, b4 is that kind of stuff. You have to play it. You have to play it, and White had delayed it for so long, and that would be a game changer, so to speak. Definitely, definitely a very serious move. It breaks the pawn, opens up c. You try to create with White some counter game here, some counterplay. You have to. is getting serious. Of course, it's getting serious. Okay. So, guys, Queen G5 again. Queen G5 again. We've seen this already. We've seen Rook on H8 quite a few times. Queen G5 was already. But what we didn't have until now is White Rook on F6. White Rook on F6 had been played. Queen B4, I did speculate about this one, Queen B4. I think what's important about Queen B4 is that it attacks the Rook. And of course, attacks the B7, which is defended by the Black Rook, which is just attacked right now. So Black has to play Rook D7 again, again. And then what do you play? Queen C5 in order to push B4? Perhaps. Or is Black gonna play Rook H back on E8? Vincent tries so hard to defend everything. White does do some pressure though on the G6, on the F7. And there you go, Rook H to E8. Rook H to E8. There you go. How do you break through? How do you force things? How do you attack? Tomorrow being Thursday, that would be during evening because I still have a club tomorrow. So they're gonna be like 6:30 p.m. ish. I think I would. Yes, I do. I do want to live stream tomorrow as well, Chief. So, um, I can't promise a time. So I'm revolving around that club, and I might have some other stuff needed to be done. So I can't tell you with absolute certainty a time. But I would like to cover at least the last part of the round number 3 classical of the Biel Switzerland Chess Championship, whatever the name is. And maybe I'm gonna be able to just do exactly like I'm doing it right now, perhaps. If not, definitely in the evening. But I would like to cover um, these games. And I said I would like to go to. I would like to visit the Turkish chess festival because there is Nihal Sarin playing and Shakriar Mamedyarov. So definitely these guys are to be watched. Rook H8, played by Black. So yeah, just consider the time you've logged in today, and let's give it the same um, coordinates. You know, the same as today. I'll try to. Yep. Alrighty. Defending the rook now. Is it Queen C5 and then B4? What else do you do to increase the pressure? Can you do Queen D6? Can you do Queen D6? Yeah. Have a good rest, my friend. Thanks for visiting, and hopefully I'm gonna see you again tomorrow. Then, no problem. Cheers, man. Okay. So, yeah. See you soon, mate. Cheers. Okay, Queen. Yeah, Queen E1. If you do Queen E1 in order to play Rook F4, in order to attack H4 twice, Black's gonna play Rook H8 again. Hello, David. Yeah, Queen D6. Yeah, and by the way, David, Queen D6 had been played already. Queen C5. There you go. He tries to play slightly differently. So queen d6 was already played like, I don't know, two, three times before. Queen c5 definitely allows b4 because it clears the way for the white pawn to go b4 and eventually b5. And if a6 takes, then bishop takes, and then you do attack the e8, and black will not be able to play rook e8 back again. So we could say that if bishop b5, black is being refused the luxury to play rook a8. So yeah, queen d6, David, I guess would encourage black to play perhaps rook d7, attacking the queen with tempo. So maybe white doesn't want to waste any more tempo moving queen away. So queen c5 or b4, b5, right? I guess. And if you play bishop b5 in the future, that is, not just you don't allow black to play rook e8, but also you do not allow rook to play to d7, attacking your queen on d6, which you had just suggested now, David. So it's a very multi-purpose idea. Queen c5 with the b4, b5, ab, bishop takes, and I think it's great, so to speak. And Haig tries to see what may happen on the queen side and what advantages he might get being attacking on that flank. Okay, that's great. Very, very, very creative and very, very precise. I mean, you've got to be very surgical here when you're playing this. It's a positional ending. People are very positional. Sort of things are predictable to some degree. I mean, not too many options for black here. Black just responds and defends every single time. Black is just continuously defending. And white looks for ways to increase the attack, to, go for some weaknesses, cutting off the black rook's light squares. I'm talking about this diagonal, a4 to e8. So probably yes, b4, b5. Black's the move anyway. And I do not see, for black, I do not see any counterplay here. I don't see what you could do for black to attack. Like what? What can you attack? Not too much. I mean, pretty much like nothing for the time being. H4 is being closed, so you can't open up the H, you can't open the G, you can't do nothing. You can't check on G3, you can't use the C. Well, you can use the C file, but not now because you're gonna lose the black rook on E7. So you can't play rook C8 because queen takes C7. So you can't do this. Yeah, I don't want to be Vincent now. I'd rather be with Haig pieces. Okay. This guy's B4. Ooh, Sam played B4 quite a few minutes ago. And Mishra had just taken AB4. He took it now. So I think, guys, we can throw in the assumption that actually AB is going to take place right now. AB, because that's the only stuff. So I think white shouldn't be wasting too much time and just go straight to AB. Yeah, probably I wouldn't waste any much time unless there is a crazy tactics that I didn't see. AB and black's gonna have to do something. Take with either knight or pawn. Which one is it? You take with the knight, bishop takes, pawn takes, and we can debate. Do you take back or do you play rook c7? We can debate. AB, there you go. There you go, AB. And now the question, big question. Do you take with C or do you take with a knight? Which one is it? CB or knight B? Which one takes B4? And after they take on B4, you're going to take with the bishop, right? straight away. Knight takes. So you're gonna be winning a pawn here, or you leave that guy and then you go rook c7. Which one is it? That's actually a good question. Well, I guess Sam must have a plan here, right? Okay. He aims to get a bit more clarity for white and to take advantage of this bishop somehow. Perhaps. But as long as d3 would be a liability, you're going to keep the bishop on f1 for the time being. And queen has to defend this weakness too. So knight take b4, knight takes, and now bishop takes. Of course, bishop takes. Totally bishop takes. Bishop takes b4. That's all gonna be. This is a must, I think. This is a must because knight with the rooks, it's too much pressure on d3. There is no reason not to take on b4. So he is going to take with bishop now. Bishop takes b4. A, B, and then we could inquire and we could debate if white takes back, or you move the rook c7, or you move the queen somewhere, maybe queen b2 to allow the bishop to defend d3. So let me just explain what I see here. Bishop takes, AB, queen b2. Queen b2, attacking the pawn, so you could recover back with the pawn, and the bishop defending this guy, attacked by the rooks. So bishop must take now. And then you're going to play queen b2. I don't think there's another way. I think quite a forcing sequence here. Yeah. And that backward pawn, how do you... Well, as long as you take b4 back with the queen, maybe, and you take b6. I mean, I don't know how you take b6, but definitely you could take b4. Okay, we'll see. If you play queen b2, you're actually dropping h5. My God, you can't even do that. Just realized. Bishop takes b4, ab. If you play queen b2, queen's going to take h. So where on earth you going with a queen? You got to check here as well. Yeah, but they move. Let's say king h8. This is not that easy. This is not that simple. This is totally not that simple. This is quite complex ending here. Anything but obvious. Not obvious at all. Wow. Bishop captures. CB. I guess you have to take with the rook, but then d3 is hanging. Yeah, but if this guy happens, there is a check and you drop the rooks. I actually like it. Guys, look at this craziness. Bishop takes b4. It's just great. Bishop takes. There you go. Bishop takes. Probably he had to calculate. Good stuff, Mosen. And good luck, man. And all the best. And take care over there. Cool stuff. So bishop takes b4. CB. Right? CB. Then do you move the queen? Do you move the queen for a discovered check? CB, queen A for a discovered check, right? Then king moves, and then you're going to play bishop E2, defending H5, keeping an eye on D3. Is this the way out? Probably. Oh, this is complex stuff taking place here. This is quite complex. There you go. And now the biggest question. Is white going to play queen a2? That seems to be the best stuff for white. Oh, that's all right, man. That's okay. No problem. Thanks for stopping by, Mosen, and all the best, man. Take care. See you next time. Cool, cool. So Queen A2. Queen A2, King must go, right? And that gives you the respite to play then Bishop E2. So let's say Queen A2, let's say Queen F7 to, well, though that's not the safest because you don't want to put the queen on the same diagonal. You might never know when the bishop makes it on C4, then you might have an issue. So perhaps Queen A2, King H8. Yeah, and exactly as we said, Bishop E2. Even if it's a check on Knight H3, you're going to play King G2, right? Maybe. Then you got to be careful about some Queen F7, Queen B7 check. This is really complicated. But boy, oh boy, F4 hitting with tempo. F4 before any Queen A2 attempts or stuff like that. This is fabulous. F4 attacking the knight. That's something you can't just ignore. So you can't react to rook d3 because you're going to lose the black knight. So you either move the knight or you take. Absolutely. So let's say e takes f4. How do you take? You take with e again, right? And if queen takes, you take with a bishop, and so far so good. Those guys are seriously weakened. The black pawns on the b file are attackable, takeable, and the bishop will naturally defend the d3 and controlling that diagonal as well. The queen may come out of the board. They would be traded, I guess. EF, EF, and if black queen takes, bishop takes. And I think that's it's playable. You can continue. It's playable, and still early to say what's going to be down the road in like 5, 10 more moves. That was a very nice twist. A very nice twist. I was considering only Queen A2 stuff and how black can react to this. I'm not sure what the engine would say about a move like Queen A2 previously, but anyway, F4 is on the board right now, so I can't say what's Queen A2. How would it have been with Queen A2? This one attacks with tempo and addresses a couple of things. Addresses the weakness on H5, the D3 weak pawn, which if queens are traded, bishop defends. Mm-hmm. Hey, there you go, Queen B6. Again, I said a couple of times about Queen B6. Still B4, B5 is about to happen. But Rook D7. Okay, if you play with the white pieces here, you need to decide to do this kind of stuff. I don't know what else you could do. With white, I mean, black just defends, but white, yeah, I think should go B4, B5. I do not see any other way to force anything here, or to open up the game, or to attack something. If you keep repeating with Queen E1 and stuff, Rook is going to go on H8 and that would be it. So B4, B5 probably must be played. Try to play some Bishop B5, attack the Rook or something. I don't know what else. I don't know what else can you do here. All right. Okay, let's get that thing and we'll be returning, guys, in a minute. I'm going to leave this one on the screen. Stay where you are, guys. We'll be returning. So, what were we? Hey, B4, exactly as we said. B4 in the end. Yes, of course, B4. That's the only plan. And I think Gamerian came with this stuff first. And he was so right about it. I don't know if he's still around here, Mosen, but that's exactly the stuff you just said about a B4 at some point, and I acquiesced. Exactly. B5, B4. That's the plan. That's the only breakthrough idea. I don't see any other stuff to pushing, forcing things. Great and very instructive as well. This one here. Okay, so F4, fabulous. Knight moved away, so he didn't take. He wanted to keep the black queen on the board, also attacking here, so you can't move the queen places. Rook takes. And now the stuff is, if black were to capture, you know something? Queen would be A2, check. So that's not takeable, guys. The white pawn on D3 cannot be taken. If you wondered why, it's because Queen A2 check and rook's being hit by the bishop. And where do you go? Even if you drop it, let's say you play what? Rook D5, right? Then bishop C4, and you've kind of lost the game. Therefore, the backward white pawn, weakness D3, can't be currently captured. It's great. Awesome. Now, 21 minutes. I don't know if they get increment after playing one move. I can't remember. I don't know if I actually read the format, if they get an increment. I mean, they got the extra half an hour, so to speak. They got that one. I don't know if they get now as soon as they play a move, but anyway. Totally. I love it. Rook d3, untakeable. Black needs to figure out something else. Question: is playable knight f6 for black? Knight f6, knight f6, knight f6. What does that do? Well, it does something for sure. It attacks h5 like twice. And if knight would take h5, then g3 would be takeable too. I think this is incredibly, incredibly sharp. Incredibly, incredibly sharp. On the other hand, I get knight f6. There you go. Knight f6. So, yes, I think this is one of the best exercises a chess enthusiast can do, watching the strong grandmasters playing and trying to understand themselves. Why did they do that? What would you play personally? Why would you do it? Etc. I think that's really helping. Okay, knight f6 and queen together, attacking h5. That is something. And I think it's so, so sharp. Very sharp position. From a material point of view, you could say it's equal, but from a tactical, positional, uh, it's different. It's just a lot of things you have to consider. So now h5 is being attacked twice. What do you play? Big question. What do you play? You could do a check queen a2, but I mean, it's guaranteed you're going to lose h5. I think you're going to lose h5 anyway. I mean, you could do a check, that is true, but then king goes h8, let's say. So you don't achieve anything. I mean, what else do you do? After that move had happened, what do you actually play? Should you do bishop e2 and then one knight takes, bishop takes, queen takes, and then you're going to play king g? But if your bishop takes the knight, then d3 is totally takeable. What should you take on e5 first thing first? Pawn takes. If you take on Actually, I think this is the way out. If you take on e5, you actually take upon a new attack both rook and knight. Therefore, black queen must take. So you've just deflected one attacker of the h5 white pawn. Yes, yes. And there is some other crazy consequences. It could potentially mean this, whatever that means, like defending h5 if necessary. It's important to open up the lines, the ranks or columns. So that's a eternal truth about chess development pieces. So when you take on e5, you actually ask a very serious question. f4 takes e5 means you're going to have to use the queen to take back, and therefore you're attacking h5 only once. So we can take it from there. It's just great, 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 great position here. Very nice, very tactical, with so many consequences. Wow, these guys are still playing so heavily, whereas Prague and Liam drew very quickly, so now they got time for rest and something else. Saving the energy for tomorrow, that is. Okay, so looks to me white must take on e5 because you've got no other good move. That's my candidate move. F takes E. It's a must. Now let's go to the other one. We're going to go back and see if that's the case. B4 happened here ages ago. That is, I think, 5 minutes ago. So B4 happened and B5 is going to take place. I guess black is just a little bit desperate about what to play next. It's so difficult to find a way to do a move here, to do any move with black here. It's like you getting in a sort of zugzwang very soon. You just do not have. You ran out of initiative. You ran out of resources. What do you play? What do you play with black here, knowing that actually white is going to play b5? I think it's more like a rhetorical question because I do not have an answer myself. Perhaps you guys have an answer. But I don't know what black is supposed to play. I mean, you could move rook left and right, right? You can move this rook on e8. You can move rook h8 or something. Or you could play, say, queen h6. But that's definitely a waiting move because you can't do nothing meaningful. You can't open up anything. You can't attack anything. So queen h6 and rook h8 because you just, what do you play? That's the thing. What do you play? Nothing really meaningful. So, and then b5 is going to take place. So, yeah. Maybe he gonna be able to withstand the attack or something. I don't know. Back to this beautiful position. Nothing had happened after knight f6. Yeah, I think this guy should take. That's my first candidate move. Let me see if I can find the blue paint. There you go. Okay. That's the first candidate move. It's gotta be this. I don't know what else white can play. And to this one, for black is incredibly difficult here. I mean, you just play this kind of stuff. Shall we go to Shakria, guys? We've got Mehmet Jarov and Nihal Sarin playing in the Turkish chess event. We can look at these guys just briefly. Then we're going to come back to the Biel Switzerland Chess Festival. Okay, rook c8. I think someone said at some point, I don't know, was a friend at some point, a chief something, I think he said rook c8. Uh, okay. But we did say that black doesn't have any other ideas apart from moving rook left and right or queen h6. So he opted for rook c8. Okay. He takes the c. Okay. Cool. Big question is for white if you actually push b5 now. Because there's also the chance for black to play rook c6 if you don't push b. So you kind of sort of like have to, right? And there is a crazy chance for black, I guess. I think I've seen something like rook c1, rook a1, followed by queen c1 for simply a checkmate. But that's a bit of a tempi. It's not just instant being played, but step by step, you could create a potential threat. But you're moving away from defending the black king to incredibly important resources, the rook on c8 and the queen on g5. So you gotta make sure there is no crazy tactic here that white might play against you. That's important. This is important. Imagine the queen is away, as we said. You just imagine this kind of things like rook takes f7. And then if you take with the rook, queen's gonna take on e6. So this is really difficult. Rook, rook. Well, no, it doesn't quite work, right? Crazy. Rook takes, queen g6. If queen goes on c, very difficult. 48 minutes here for white to play. That's a difficult position. I think b4 makes most of the sense here. I mean, put it with blue. b4, I guess. I would go with b4 more than anything here with white. I don't know what else I should play. So b4 my first choice. Black didn't do nothing just yet. Again, my first choice would be f takes on e5. Now, right at this very moment. And yeah. Okay, let's go briefly now to the Turkish Super League, guys. It's Max Sudlu playing, and a bunch of other guys, all of them strong grandmasters. Hey, Mamijarov playing Nihal Saren. This is so cool. Yes, Mamijarov for Azerbaijan and Nihal Saren for India. So that's one hell of a game. Of course, we should be looking at this one as well, which we just do now. Whose turn is it? Blackstone's play. Okay, that's a thing. The d3 critical square, defending against this and this. As long as you have rook and queen, that's not going to happen. Anyway, black's to move. It might be this as well. We'll see about that. We'll see about that. Should you take with the pawn? Just watching this position at the first glance here. And again, a lot of time here available for both players. Mamijarov with 40 minutes almost, and the other guy, Nihal Saran, 1 hour. So that's plenty of time to judging things here. Yeah, there is some attack on c5, but I think more importantly for white is, and for black is this kind of stuff. But black defends it twice, so you can't play the bishop. And it's black's to play. I don't know. Do you play g6 here? I don't know. Do you play... What do you play? Do you play rook d2 for simply checkmate? If the bishop were to move? Well, but the bishop can go f3 though. So you won't be able to. That is true. So there's so many questions, and I think the position is incredibly, incredibly sharp as it is now. So I don't know if rook must come here or g6 to hitting the queen a bit, although you give up on all the dark squares around the black king. Okay, he played the knight, which I think I did highlight in one of my previous attempts to anticipate. Okay. That knight definitely will not allow any bishop. A very important move, by the way. Very, very important stuff. That is rook c5 could be, right? But there is also something about f4 coming to f3. And that attacks the bishop and challenges the g2 pawn. So that's quite important too. A very sharp position. Incredibly sharp position. I think Shakria wants to play Shak wants to play f3. Black wants to play, amongst others, f3. So that's something. That is definitely something. And let me go back to the Switzerland thing. Wow. What did he play? He played d4. He moved the backward pawn. He didn't take on f, but he definitely wants to take next, and you're going to be losing a piece. So knight has stake now? Yeah, but then I'm going to take with the f pawn, right? And there is the c and the a2 squares exploitable, and that will be leading to attacking the black king. Okay, so many nice ideas. Okay, fellas, it's been more than 2 hours now, so we're gonna call it a day, and you can guys watch your favorite chess festival. uh, I'm gonna try come back tomorrow, guys, and cover for a period of time the Switzerland or the Turkish chess festival. So thanks for stopping by today, guys, and see you tomorrow.